Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Terra Tech. And on this episode, we are going to be continuing where we left off. I do apologize right there at the beginning. I am still getting over my cold, or still going through my cold, I should say. I haven't even gotten to the getting over part just yet. But I am going to be doing a few episodes here and there just to kind of give you guys something to watch in the meantime. Although, if you want to, you're more than welcome to go back and watch all the other episodes, and there's a ton of them, guys. But we're going to be messing around with my base spot. Now, this, as you guys may recognize, is the base spot that I had in the actual game. And I saved it and went ahead and loaded into it, and I want to kind of refine it a little bit better. First of all, it wasn't quite as big as you could possibly make it. It could get a lot bigger than I had it. And that's one thing I'm going to be doing. Another thing is I want to make sure that the top part, where the actual conveyor system, I want to make sure that works this time, and I get it all perfected so that I can just buy this humongous, highly priced, bot out there in the field, and it just is ready to go. Now, I'll probably make this with two stages in mind. One, just the bare minimum blocks. I'm talking about just the geocore blocks that you see right here before us. And you know why I'm talking about it, I might as well just start building as well. But yeah, I want to do it where it was just the bare minimum geocore blocks with no extra bells and whistles. And the reason behind that is so that when I want to buy it in the actual game, I don't have to worry about, oh, have I found the, really nice venture shields. Because if you don't have the venture shields and the venture shields are on the bot you're trying to buy, you're just not able to purchase that bot. But if you'd leave those off and then just add them down the road as you get them, you're able to buy it earlier if you have the money. So I'm going to try to do, like I said, the basic blocks, which are easy to come by, things that I've gotten, pretty much every single time I played. The geocore blocks are definitely those. You'll normally get these if you build a big enough bot. They're not too difficult to find. However, some of the other stuff is, such as like these boosters, definitely nice to get, but you don't always get them right away. So that could take a little bit of time to find, and like I might leave those off and just add them myself. The same thing with the weapons. I know certain weapons are very, very easy to get, and so I'll put those on this guy, like the Venture Fire rifles. The other thing I have to kind of worry about is the weight. Yeah, the weight and the cost. But since I'm adding these wheels here, and I am keeping a space in between them, I could put them a little closer together, but I'm leaving one space in between them because I have found by doing that, you do give yourself a little bit more of a turning radius. These things do need to be able to move when they're turning, and you can see right there, actually it doesn't really show them, but it may not even be best to have nothing but these big wheels. I may actually have to kind of change that up here in the future. I may even have to move all those wheels up one more. Yeah, I think I will, because I didn't line it up before we built, because I didn't know what the length of it was going to be, and I went ahead and built it as far as it possibly can, minus one of these long blocks. And the reason behind that is I want on the front of my bot to be able to have weapons and scoops and diamond drills or whatever it is that I decide that I want to put there. And I can't really do that if I go all the way to the end of it. So we're definitely gonna watch that and make sure that we keep a little bit of space on both ends. And if you look at it like this, if you did go all the way to the end of it, you wouldn't be able to have the wheel kind of hang over the end as well, because that would be like the chop off point. And I forgot what it is. I think it's 64 by 64 blocks, which is the max it can go in. Now, in case you're wondering, why did I put this extra layer here in the center? Well, it's because I want extra wheels down there. The wheels are going to offset the weight of my bot quite well. Let me make sure those are lined up. Yeah, they're going to offset the weight of my bot, and this thing is not only going to be, heavy, it's going to be tall. And, the taller you're going to make it, the heavier it's going to get to. So we're going to have to worry about that because, one thing that I kind of want to do is layers. I want to have an entire set of, that's not lining up right. Let me move that around and take that one off. Yeah, it tosses things like crazy when I put them down now. I even had to save it several times and then come back in once it was, come on, put them all down. Oh man, it's pushing them all out because of the size of this sucker. And you can see it's still quite short, which is fine with me because we are going to make it longer as we go through. But it's going to have layers, rows of these wheels down here. But the layers going up top is I want to have one where it just takes the resources and breaks them down maybe moves a few of them into the recycler, or not the recycler, into the generator to create energy from like the wood and things of that sort. So it sorts those out, and then goes ahead and takes all the other pieces up to the next level. And of course, you need those step conveyors, and really, this whole plan is hinging on the fact of me either finding one of those or making one of those. But this whole bot really will not work without it. So I am just going to put it on there and hope that when we go through our actual game, we'll be able to find one of those. And to be honest, I've never found one in the game. You know, like, it's just not something I come across very often. I really hope that they up the limit, up the spawn rate on those items, because that seems like a very useful thing to have. The same thing as the gyroscope or gyro thing or whatever majiggy that you can get, that allows your planes to kind of keep themselves balanced a little bit more, rather than you having to kind of adjust that and do that all yourself every single time. That definitely seems like a very useful thing to have, and I haven't found those either, so that's going to be kind of interesting. Now, I can come down a little bit on this row, but you can see right there, I am going to leave that complete little hallway right there in this corner piece empty, so that I can put shields down there. I can put, whatever it is that I find into this little cubby hole right here. And then at the top, I'm going to leave myself a little indentation, just like I have it right there, so that I can put this stuff here, and then the next layer doesn't really have to worry about being even with it. But there's a lot of changes. Like, I'm going to take these things off, all these shields and these little tiny batteries I'm going to take off. I'm probably going to leave the geocore ones on, the giant geocore batteries. Those are getting easier and easier to find, to be honest. So I'm hoping to have those on my bot. I'm also going to take off the single blocks, because that's going to add weight. Not weight. It's going to take a lag onto my bot. The more blocks, single ones you have, the kind of the worse it gets. So you do want to do as many doubles as you possibly can. So let's go with these right here. We'll get rid of all of those. We're already going to have enough moving plot. I can't even speak tonight, guys. We're already going to have enough moving parts and blocks on our bot. I don't want to make it any worse on lag than it's going to be. Let's see. We'll put that there. Dang it. I have to redesign this whole thing. Okay, well, let's keep going. It's probably going to take a few redesigns before I have this exactly where I want. Because if you look at it down here, this is where everything should be lined up. And because I have the front and the back in a different place, it's not quite there yet. So if I move that, that will pop off. And let's see if we can get this back to the way it needs to be right there. Is that lined up? Actually, it is not lined up, so that's not going to work. Okay, then we'll bring all these down one. I didn't want to do it, guys. Didn't want to do it. Well, guess we'll have to. Let's put this over here. I don't know if that's the only piece I got, but, yeah, it doesn't like it when you do that, guys. It doesn't like it at all. Okay, this, I actually like the way that looked where it went down one. So we're going to try to do that yet again, but just not with the 1 blocks. Let's get rid of these. Let's go with the 2. And we're going to have to put something up here on this little ledge for it to kind of connect that way. Let's see if we can get it to go the way we want right there. Hopefully that does not sit on the wheel too much. That might be a problem, but we'll find out here in the future if it is when we start driving it around. And of course, that's going to be a huge redesign to do that again, but I'm okay with that. Sometimes you do got, like, if I do it now, I don't have to do it later, which is the whole point of this build, is to make sure that we can just buy what we want when we need it. And, you kind of do it now, because for those of you who have watched my Let's Plays in the past, you'll know you don't always get time to do it in the game. Like, you'll get attacked and things will happen, so it can get very, very messy very quickly. In fact, I think I might change that up and go like that. 4 down on that one, and then do this one back to the side right there. And I don't know how long we're going to make it just yet, so let's see exactly how far we can get this before we go any further, because we may want to change that up. It kind of looks a little funky if it's not quite symmetrical. So let's go into build mode. Hopefully it won't kick us out of build mode again. Whenever you take like big pieces off of your bot, it tends to do that. So let's see, can we... oh my god, am I going to have to use the ridiculous... Yeah, I'm going to have to use the ridiculous scroll, zoom out button as I'm doing this. Come on, put it the way I want it, please. Oh my god, what is your issue? I really wish I could zoom into the level that I want. Oh my, you guys you're just trolling me, aren't you? Just do not want to put it on there even. There we go. Whew, okay. Finally, now we got to fight with this one, don't we? Yep, yeah, we do. Why wouldn't it be that way? There we go. How far can we go? Let's move these. I might have to save this design and reload into it again just to get rid of all these pieces. They do kind of add up. I really wish the game had, in the R&D anyways, the ability to kind of push a button and say, okay, get rid of anything that's on the ground or anything that's loose or something like that. So if you had just tons and tons of extra stuff and you're like, I don't really need any of this stuff anymore. Oh my god, how far does this go? This is gonna be massive, guys. Okay, well that's definitely not gonna stay the same right there with those pieces. Can we do it? Can we put it up there? Yes, we can. Oh, geez, look at that. That is going to be freaking huge. All right, well, how are we gonna do that? If it's gonna be that big, I may have to go up more than just 3 levels, actually. Might have to go up 4. I didn't know I was going to make it that tall. That or been long, or wide, I should say. Wow. Yeah, seriously, guys, the cold. I'm going to blame it on that. But yeah, if you, the wider you go, the more you have to remember that you're going to be going over hills, and sometimes the hills are very, very steep, and they have a little sharp point on the very top of them, and you don't want to get stuck with a bot this size on the top of a hill when you're being chased by an invader or something along those lines. So yeah, I think we will have to go up maybe 2 or even 3 more levels. This thing is going to be massive. All right, guys, well, I think I'm going to go ahead and pause it. I'm going to work a little bit on fixing this up, getting it right, because I'm going to have to redo that whole middle part and everything else. We will be coming back. I'm going to paste these 2 pieces together, and I'm going to show you more in just a second, guys. So I'll catch you guys in just a few seconds. Hey guys, and welcome back. And as you can see, I went ahead and changed some things up here. I went ahead and figured out how far apart I could make these things, and I have just enough room for 1 extra block on the end. I can't do another one than that. That is just enough. So I have basically 1 extra space on both sides, and that's going to be for the wheels. Actually, I don't think the wheels will be able to hold off because 2 on both sides. Yeah, so that's not going to work. We may have to take off one of these layers right there, and that should do it. Actually, it's not going to be quite as high as I would hoped, but you know, I don't want it to be a monstrosity in the sense that it is just going to be enormous in size. I want it to be very practical. I want it to work, and I thought maybe making it where it looked kind of cool, where it was like a spider legs every so often, but I don't really think that's going to hold the amount of weight for the amount of blocks that I'm going to be putting on this thing. So yeah, oh yeah, I knew it was going to kick it out the moment I tried doing that. Yeah, but we definitely want it so this thing is has as many wheels down on the bottom as possible, especially if I'm going to go up as many layers as I already am. We do definitely have to worry about weight. And until I'm done and I actually get to drive this thing around, I don't necessarily know if we're going to be able to find out if it's going to be able to hold the weight that I'm hoping it can, even with all the wheels, because the higher up you go, the less space you have down on the bottom, and the less space you have down on the bottom, the less wheels you can put down. So we are really going to have to do some fancy footwork down here to be able to make sure that yeah, that it could actually support it. I'm really concerned. I think that's my #1 priority at this moment, is just to figure that out before we go too much further. And the only way for me to do that is to get these 2 layers, the one on the left and on the right, to be done, so we can actually put some wheels on like we were doing a minute ago. But we kind of jumped the gun on that one, to be honest. I went ahead and started making the bot thinking, oh, you know, I had already worked out the size, and I forgot this wasn't the one we were building on the last mission, but this is one that we had built I think like 2 or 3 saves ago that actually worked. You know, it was something that I was able to build up, something I was able to afford to build up as we were playing the game, because these blocks are rather expensive. I do hope maybe if the programmers ever watch, or if they ever hear about this, maybe one of you guys can leave it on the forums, if they could somehow possibly integrate into the game the ability for you to use the stuff in storage when you purchase a bot. Because normally I can pick up a lot of these blocks, but when I am buying them, they cost quite a bit. So if I could buy this bot that I've already pre-designed and got everything, all the kinks worked out, and I know what works and how I'm going to do this and how I'm going to do that. If I could do that with my pre-purchased or actually, why am I doing it this the hard way? Why don't I just come in here and get these? This should allow me to just put them down as I want, shouldn't it? I think it does. Oh yeah, I don't know why I'm doing this the hard way. Jeez. Okay, so we're gonna keep doing this then. But yeah, if I could use like the 50 or 60 that I have in storage to purchase this bot and make it a little bit cheaper, and then of course just buy the rest of the pieces that I don't have, that would be kind of a cool feature to integrate into the game. I don't know if they could do that. It seems like a lot of coding on their part to make it where, okay, you need this many pieces to buy that, but you have only 14 of them, and you have 13 of these and 12 of those. We're going to give you a discount of this when you purchase it. Like, that's probably a little bit too much to ask, but I think it would be a neat little feature if they could integrate it in there, especially for people who, design some really, really cool stuff to be able to actually use. Yeah, because some of these pieces, some of these bots are just ridiculous. Even if they're not giant in size like mine is, just being able to afford them anyways is not the easiest thing. And it takes, hours sometimes of going out and collecting resources for you to even get close to that. So let's go ahead and build these other walls now that we know we can just put them down real easy. And the reason I'm doing that, give it a little bit more stability, but more than that, I want to make sure that it can handle the weight, as I said before, and not just the weight in the back. That's not what I wanted to do. It needs to handle the weight overall. And if it can't even handle the frame, there is absolutely no way it's going to be able to handle what I'm going to be throwing on the inside, which is just going to be one of the biggest bases I've ever created, because I've never created a bot at this size. I mean, you can see the bot that I had before, which is right there on the inside, and this one makes it look just like a tiny toy compared to what it is now. I don't know necessarily if it's going to work well. I mean, I'm hoping, really am, but I'm preparing myself for the worst case scenario, which is me doing all this work only to find out that, oh, by the way, it just wasn't built right. Like you needed to do this and that. Although, since we have been playing for so long, I'm pretty sure I know the kinks of a giant size base. I've sat there and I've built bases before that were just too big to work. They were too low to the ground. We had to go back and fix this. We had to go back and fix that. And through trial and error, we've kind of figured out those little kinks. However, there's always a however in there. They do keep making new changes to the game. They have a lot more changes to be incorporated in down the road. I remember when the game first came out and I was playing it, they had it where you didn't have weight limits. Like no matter how much you had, it didn't make a difference to the size or the amount of wheels you needed. So you could have just a giant tower, and I've actually had episodes where I did it. I built a giant tower of blocks with weapons surrounding it on all sides, and it just goes straight up into the sky, and it has like 4 wheels down on the bottom, and it's able to move just fine. And I'm not even talking about like geocore wheels. I'm just talking about like regular GSO wheels, like the crap little tiny ones, not the bigger size Geo or GSO wheels. Like, so yeah, a lot of stuff has changed since then, and I think for the better. It makes it more realistic, which I guess is the route they chose to go. They could have always done, cartooning, just be like, oh, whatever you can think of, you can make, even if it doesn't really make, sense in the physical means. It's just, oh, it looks cool and it's fun to drive around. They could have gone that route, and they still could if they wanted to make another like download content where like all the physics are taken out, and or even they could explain it with the physics and be like, you're on another planet and gravity is lower, so you need less less wheels for the weight of your bot because you don't weigh as much. And you could even make it where blocks kind of float in midair, although that would just be kind of weird to have them floating all around you, and that could actually be kind of disastrous too. Like you blow up a bot, all the pieces go floating around, and now when you drive around, you're constantly running into stuff. You're doing damage the whole time you're playing. You'd have to redesign your guy to actually put armor on the outside of your bot so that you could like plow right through it, almost like a icebreaker or something along those lines, which could be interesting. Maybe they might go down that route at some point, but I haven't heard anything to that effect. I think they're still just working on getting the game done. You guys who watch my videos will know I always constantly ask for more from game designers, even if the game is amazing. So, you know, I'm not trying to say, oh, they need to do this or they need to do that. I just like to imagine, like, what if? Because as a writer, when I read a book, it's one of the main reasons I actually became a writer. Is I'd read a book and be like, what if he had gone in that direction? What if instead of taking a right to go inside the cave, he had gone to the town? Or what if he had, you know, decided to make an airplane instead of a submarine? Like, what would the story have been then? And, you know, it kind of gets my imagination going. It's the same thing in video games. They're like, what if they had done this rather than that? And as you play more games, you'll see that some people do go off in those directions you're talking about. And if you really don't quite ever see people do what you want them to do, it may just be a sign that maybe you need to be the programmer. You know, like maybe you need to get in there and, you know, make that stuff for yourself. How am I going to do this? I guess I go up one, right? Is that how I have it on that side? I think so. Yeah. Okay, so just one more right there. Just making sure it's symmetrical. I don't want to make it off, you know, a little bit, because then it's going to be, the weight is going to be distributed a little bit, and that means the turning is not going to be quite right, and yeah, just a whole bunch of things down the road. So make sure you get it where it's perfect the first time, and then you don't have to worry about coming back and making changes to it. This is going to be a giant freaking yellow block of mess. I mean, I may have to add some color to this. I do definitely want to put on the inside layers so that I have a little bit of space to make the lights can actually go down in here and somewhere. I'm going to zoom out instead since it doesn't want to cooperate. Come on, you know you want to. Put it right there on the other side. Oh, geez, what are you doing? Why are you making me work for it? Come on, guys. Shouldn't be this difficult. Go back to whatever coding you guys had, please. I beg you. I beg you more than anything. Go back to it. You guys had it absolutely perfect the first time. Don't know why you messed with it. It's a nightmare to work with now, and I mean that in the most kindest possible way of it being a nightmare. Like, just, I hate the way it works now. Like, physically and mentally and everything about it is just horrible. Horrible with the controls on this stuff. I hope you fix it. I hope you do, because if I have to go through this too much more, I am going to go insane. Some of you don't have any issue with it. Like, look at this. I mean, sometimes it works. Yeah, dude, what is your issue? I really liked it the way it was, where it like remembered what you were doing and how you were putting things down, and it didn't. Jeez, what in the world? And now it's flashing. I think it's having just as much issue with me as I'm having with it at the moment. Come on. When it works, it's good. When it doesn't, it's yeah, it's something else. Can we keep going? I think we can. There we go. Oh, why do you keep changing? Like, literally no reason from one to the next. It just changes. Okay, there we go. We got it. Not messing with that side anymore for a while until I figure out exactly how we're going to do that. Now the wheels. Okay, how can I do the wheels? Will it let me do more wheels than one at a time? We're about to find out. Oh, yes, it will. This is so much easier than dragging and dropping each and every one of them. I should have done this sooner, guys. All right, here we go. I'm going to leave a little space in between. That's also going to leave me room to add stuff down there as well, should I ever need to, for whatever case, like lights, you know, little tiny, just things to make it look a little bit better. I'm not going to add the wheel right there on the front for now either. Let me go ahead and click off that, if it will let me, and we'll zoom in, get a better view of it if we can. That's one of the drawbacks to working with a giant-sized bot, is it's very hard to get onto the inside of it and see what's going on, because it just doesn't want to let you get that zoomed in view. Can I minimize that without getting rid of it? No, I cannot. That would be a cool feature, to be able to minimize that while still doing stuff with it, because I am having a little bit of an issue with targeting where I want it to, and that box is kind of getting in the way. Right there. Go a little bit more on this end. Come on, you could do it. There you go. A little bit more. There you go. Oh man, this is going to be difficult. Really difficult. Ah, you know what? Maybe doing it from underneath might be a better method. Yeah, that's a better view right there. Come on. Maybe not. The wheels are like, where are you at? What are you trying to click me on? Right there on the blocks, guys. Right there on the blocks. I do also really wish, while you're in the R&D, especially since it's another purchasable download content, that you guys would give us the ability to copy and paste rows, or like build like half of the bot, copy and then paste it, and then connect the two pieces together. That way, when we build giant designs like this, we have the ability to just build it once and not have to build both sides of it. Because a lot of the time, like I said before, people just make it as symmetrical as possible when they're designing stuff. Of course, it changed the wheels, didn't it? Yes, it did. Okay, we'll click off of the wheels. Click back on. They should be back onto their default. Will it not let me put it over here on the side? Will it? Oh, no. Don't tell me that. It's just too big. Ah, that sucks. That sucks. Why didn't I check it before? Okay, so we do have enough space for one more layer. However, the wheels are too wide. What are we going to do, guys? Oh, dang it. All I really need to do is remove this layer and add gray blocks right there, and it would work. Oh, dang it. I think that's what I'll have to do, is I'll have to add the gray blocks down there. But let's go ahead and put these wheels on for now, if it will let me click on them. There we go. And we'll at least have one side that is ready to go. I may have to zoom in here in a second. Let me go ahead and do that. Oh, I really don't want to. Dang it. We're going to have to redesign this, aren't we? Because I'm not going to do it halfway. I'm not going to do it halfway, guys. Oh, my God. So much work done, and we're going to have to go back and do it all over again. All right, guys. Well, I think we're going to go ahead and end the episode here. On the next episode, should be in like next week sometime, once I finally get over this cold. And we're gonna fix this. We're gonna make it right so that it works the way we want it to work. And we have to do it anyways, because I want to have room to put weapons on the outside of this thing. And if we put the blocks there, that's, there's not gonna be any room for the weapons. So we're just gonna have to make it one shorter on probably this end. We're just gonna take that off and cause it to go down that way, and that will make it one shorter and just kind of move all the rows over. If I could cut all these rows off and then just move them over manually that way, it would save me a lot of time. That would be a really, really nice feature. Again, don't know if they're ever going to put anything like that in there, but it would definitely be really nice if they did. It would save doing things like this a little less of a hassle when you're trying to coordinate just the sheer size of something you've never built before. And this is just massive in scale. Although now that I'm looking at it, it's really not going to take me that much time to kind of fix this up again. It's just not going to be, the design that I had originally in mind when I first started this. It's just going to be a little bit off. And this is the way I went ahead and did the rows, by the way, guys, in case you're wondering, like, how do you get that to go on there? Because these things, they want to snap on evenly. But if you want it to where they're a little off, you're going to have to put something there, even just for a few seconds, just to kind of get it lined up the way you want it. Ah, see, there we go. That's not too bad. That's not too bad at all, guys. Yeah, that's a lot easier. And we might just be able to move these things over. And at least I won't have to redo that front piece, which just takes, forever to do because of it being a nightmare to control with the zoom in and zoom out with the scroll wheel. And I know they're going to be phasing that out sometime down the road altogether and just forcing you to use the keyboard. I'm hoping they reconsider that one, because I don't like using the keyboard any more than I have to when doing stuff like this. Like you already have your hand on the mouse. Keeping that going in a nice rhythm usually allows me to build a little faster. And yeah, you can be like, oh, I just put your other hand on the keyboard and stuff. Well, if you're doing it in the game, a lot of the time you're, moving stuff around on the fly, and you're worried about, okay, I need to hit the boosters, I need to drive around, and I'm firing and stuff like that. And it's a lot easier to have one hand doing the controlling of the actual direction of the bot while it's firing and hitting thrusters. At the same time, the other hand is moving stuff around. If you make it where now you have to use a different key on the keyboard to do that, you're going to have to stop, and you're not going to be able to do it on the fly, which is going to change the game dramatically, at least for the way I play it. And I think it worked really well the first time, because as you got more and more familiar with the game, you were able to do more complicated stuff like that. But as I said before, guys, I think we're going to go ahead and end the episode here. I do want to thank you all for watching. I hope that you guys will remain patient with me while I am getting over this cold. It's just, it's pretty nasty. And the cough is apparently coming. Like I said, I've seen my relatives; they all have it right now. I got it from I think that my nieces and nephews. Anytime you have kids around, you're going to get sick eventually. And The cough that they got has been going on for about 3 weeks now. I'm hoping mine doesn't last that long because it's going to be a pretty nasty crimp in my schedule for making these Let's Plays if that happens, but we will just have to see. And as always, guys, I'm AC Gamer, and I'll definitely catch you all next time. Hey guys, and welcome to the disembodied voice of AC Gamer. We are definitely going to be doing a lot more series in the future, but here are a few of them that you guys might find interesting. Of course, you're more than welcome to check them out. I would love to hear your comments. Again, if you do enjoy these videos, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe. It's definitely the indicator that I use to tell if you guys want to see more videos like that, of that particular game style, of that series in the long run. So when you guys leave comments down, it helps me decide whether we should keep doing it, as well as whether you want to see games like that in the future. And here are a few of them right here. I kind of picked out a few of different genres. We will be doing spotlights for other YouTubers in the future. So if you want to get a little shout out, definitely let me know. If you group with me, chances are you will get a shout out in here eventually. But for now, these are just 4 series that I have that I feel like could use a little bit more attention and that you guys might actually enjoy as well. Thanks again for watching, guys, and we will definitely catch you all next time.